Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I want to give you a reaction and explanation for the Facebook live stream that I was invited to by Marvel Future Fight, Netmarble, in LA. It was a lot of fun, and I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of background information and a little bit of the thoughts that were going through my head when I was there, sitting in the seat, looking at the camera, and just reacting to things. So, a couple of things to get started before we kind of talk about how I'm feeling there. We actually didn't have, when I refer to we, I refer to myself and RJ, the guy sitting to my left. We had no idea what to expect because they didn't give us any information prior to the live stream. They didn't tell us, any specific information or details about the update. They didn't show us a test build of the update. We didn't get to see the phone that had the update, applied to it, updated. So I didn't actually. All of my reactions were completely genuine because I had no idea what was coming. There was only a couple of scripted moments in the live stream. So they're introducing me right now. That's RJ. If you guys don't recognize RJ, he's a moderator on the subreddit for Marvel Future Fight. And actually, if you guys follow my Twitch pretty closely, we actually got into a bit of a heated argument a few months back. But I met him in person. I cleared up a lot of the kind of, you could call it bad blood between us. And he's actually a really nice guy. So it's funny, meeting someone on the internet, you don't really know who they are, and you only get a small piece of that personality, and you it's just via text, but then you talk to them in person and it's completely different.
It feels surreal.
Yeah.
It feels surreal.
Yeah, look, we have the budget too.
Yeah, you do. Whose credit card did you use for that?
My mom's. Yeah, I'm gonna take this off here.
Yeah.
Now put it down for a second. All right.
And then
Now,
Kyler on the other side, also a really nice guy. I met him for the first time. He'll be taking over for Alfonso, which is sad, but that's something that, has to be. A lot of these reactions where I'm just making faces, or I'm, making expressions, or I'm doing things with my hand. This is just stuff where, the snap. This is just stuff where I think it's going to provide more entertainment, and that was basically my goal. I know that people are going to be looking at me. I know that people are going to want to see a reaction, because that's what live streaming is. You're developing, a dialogue, and you're reacting and talking about what is going on, whether you're playing a game or you're watching a movie or something else entirely. So,
disclaimers first. They are not representatives of Netmarble.
right, we're not paid by Netmarble. So that's what I was basically trying to do. I was basically just trying to entertain. So, doing the finger thing, laughing. I'm not trying to mock or make fun of anyone else in the live stream, whether it's Alfonso or RJ or Kyler or myself. I mean, maybe I'm trying to mock myself a little bit, but that's it. I think I'm trying to pick Thanos' nose at this point. I thought that was a good idea. The people behind the scenes didn't really like that, so I didn't do it too many times, but it's pretty cool with the green screen, and you get to see, what's behind you. And we've got this cake. That was really cool. I actually didn't even try the cake, funny enough. So a little bit of a spoiler for later on in the live stream. I didn't even get to try the cake. I wasn't really feeling like cake anyways. But it was really cool to be there. And it was a small couch, though. I have to say, I'm a pretty big guy. I look even bigger on the live stream than I do in the YouTube stuff and the Twitch stuff, but yeah, it's not a flattering angle for me to be like leaned back that much. I'm just a big dude by nature. I got big bones, and so I was kind of looking for space. I didn't want to crowd RJ, I didn't want to crowd Alfonso, but something that you'll realize begins to happen and happens throughout the live stream is Alfonso is leaning out of the frame. He's already out of the frame. He's already cutting close to half of his head off. I don't even know what joke I just made. But he keeps leaning out of the frame, and the people behind the scenes kept saying, lean back, lean forward towards Cynicalex. Maybe it was my fault for leaning too close to him, but I was basically just trying to encourage him to get back into the frame.
I'm a Scorpio, so I'm waiting for them to take their revenge.
So here, you know, I made a bit of a question mark with my eyebrows. I don't know. I just because a lot of this stuff is unscripted. The horoscope idea just kind of caught me off guard, and I didn't expect him to say that. And I was just trying to see the connection between that because I don't personally follow horoscopes, so I had no idea. But that was the only reason why I did that. And again, it's just trying to be animated. So you're trying to just make little touches here and there because I don't have a script. You know, Alfonso and Kyler have dedicated parts where they have to say specific things, whether it's tied to the company, whether it's tied to Marvel, whether it's tied to the update. But RJ and I have literally zero script. There's a teleprompter running what they're supposed to say, but there's nothing for me and RJ. So we're basically just sitting there for 45 minutes or whatever, however long, either saying and doing nothing or reacting. So, and it's unfortunate that no one got to ask any questions to me and to RJ. Obviously, again, of course, see, we're just joking around. We're just kind of trying to have fun because think about it. If I were to just sit there for 45 minutes with zero hand movements and zero facial expressions, it would be the most boring thing in the world. So this was crazy. Seeing them for the first time, I kept looking down because the phone was at the bottom, and the phone had a better. That's why I keep looking down. The phone has a better resolution, but then Alfonso told me just look at the screen because it's a lot closer to the camera. But that was sick. We had never seen any of this before. Thanos coming through the portal. It was overwhelming because I'm trying to absorb all of the information on the screen at the same time. I'm trying to get, the uniforms. I'm trying to see the Shield Academy at the bottom, which now we know what that is. I was frantically searching the bottom as well. Over here, if there are any clues, because in past live streams, Netmarble has hidden extra uniforms and clues like that underneath in the little icons. So now we just go through kind of a routine, visually checking out the characters, and then going through the skills. And we kept doing that. RJ and I both kept looking to see in each of the basic infos about that uniform synergy because, we're so used to seeing Marvel Future Fight and the way the game is laid out, the UI, the user interface. So whenever something is changed, whenever something is added or taken away, it's almost like it's like a big bright light because it's so foreign because we're so used to seeing it in a very specific way. So we both kind of jumped. We didn't catch exactly what it was, but we knew something was there, something that had never been there before. And so for every subsequent uniform, you'll see, and that was really cool. And I didn't react enough to that, but that was a really cool, such a good skill. Yeah, you'll see that we react every time there's a new uniform shown. And unfortunately, Cap didn't get his tier 3 skill changed, but that's okay. So I want to just clear something up because I think that I planted a bit of a false impression or a false idea in some fans' minds with in regards to Spider-Man being there with the featured icon. When I first saw this, I thought because of characters like Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man, Thor, Captain Marvel, Winter Soldier, and Doctor Strange, that these were Infinity War or Endgame related uniforms. So I was thinking maybe Spider-Man was going to get a new uniform. Now keep in mind, I was only seeing these screens for a flash, for like 1 or 2 seconds, and everything's going on at the same time. There's people saying stuff, there's things happening. And so I overreacted to that, and I kind of overemphasized Spider-Man. Obviously, he's not getting anything, at least from everything that we've seen in terms of the key art, in terms of the Android and iOS kind of update details. And these featured uniforms are just featured because they're either new or they're very, very good and very popular. You got Cable, you got Magneto, Luna Snow, etc. And then you got Black Panther at the end with the kind of discount to 3,300. So I just wanted to clear that up in case people still had questions about that. So this part, a lot of people talked about. I got to play the Legendary Battle. Nothing was scripted for what to do with the Legendary Battle, so that's why it's a little bit slow. That's why there is a pause, and that's why things kind of go a little bit slower. But yeah, I was trying to be as honest as possible.
Visually speaking, I want them all.
Right.
We just need to back it up with the cake's gotta have some substance.
All right, well, we'll get those.
So I referenced the cake, but basically I was just trying to be as honest as possible, while also being as respectful as possible, because this is a professional live stream. This is not, one of my personal live streams where I'm the host and I'm the editor and everything. And so, I don't want to put everyone's hard work, and I don't want to disrespect that by being too nosy and too kind of pushy. But I really had to find out here about the CTP of Rage. And then RJ and I both reacted. That is, is it a good no? Is it a bad no? Yeah, that was completely unscripted. That was my first time seeing it. I was disappointed, but of course I have to hold my disappointment in, because again, it's not my live stream, and I'm just a guest there. And regardless of whether that particular moment met my expectations, I can't let that affect. I'm not going to be grumpy and angry for the rest of the live stream just because one aspect of the update isn't what I wanted it to be. I don't run Netmarble. I'm not the CEO, literally. So I had to just roll with it. And that was basically, I think that was as much as I could have put into it. I had, again, no idea what was going on in this legendary battle. I still haven't played it because I was waiting to actually watch Endgame before playing any of this legendary battle stuff, so I'll be getting into it in the next couple of days on the live stream. But it was very fun. I really like this fight. It's very unique. And it's almost as fun as some of the World Boss Ultimates in the sense that there's so many different attacks and so many different patterns, and especially playing it fresh for the first time is very fun. But the CTP of Rage situation and the CTP of Rage reaction was definitely unscripted and definitely just revealed Destroy the Glaive before he rises again. That's right. Definitely revealed a little bit of my own personal reaction to things. But yeah, the legendary battle was quite fun, and I was quite happy with that, and I can't wait to dive into it again.
What did you think about that? The first fight of the new legendary battle. We also want to preview a new mode coming to the game. Are you ready for it?
So the new game mode, World Event. We previewed it for the first time here. We didn't really have, we weren't able to play it, so we just had to read through it. And again, I had no idea what to expect. But they just passed it off to me to read. And so I just spent time reading it. I probably could have cut down on the reading a little bit, but the kind of inner nerd in me and the inner Marvel Future Fight fan in me just took over, and I just wanted to get as much information as possible. I was just like, I need to read all of this. You guys need to know what it is. So I just, reading and reading and reading and reading. It's not that interesting going back and rewatching it, but it's funny because at the time, I kind of got into streamer mode at this moment. I'm looking up and down. I'm making, hand gestures, and at this point I'm steering the stream a little bit, which is probably not the best thing to do, given that it's on a timer. They don't have infinite time for their live stream. They have a set amount of time that they can stream for, and they don't want to drag on, because if I take too long on this part, and maybe I did, so apologies to Netmarble if I did, but if I take too long, then it cuts out time for other parts of the live stream that could be even better and more amazing. So I mean, here I went back and I just kept trying to find more information, digging and digging and digging, which I probably should have skipped on that, because the live stream's gonna be, or the update's gonna be happening just a day and a bit after the live stream. It's not a long time to wait, so I could have waited the extra 24 hours, or I could have just quickly flashed the screen and looked up at you guys and said something like, pause the video later on to read this, and then I could have backed out and done that. But their reaction on their part was completely positive and happy. Nobody had any negative reaction to anything that I did in the live stream. Nobody criticized me or said, don't do this next time, or don't do anything. I mean, there wasn't any mention of inviting me for another live stream. Hopefully they do want to have me back at some point in the future, but hopefully I read the room correctly and they weren't upset with me for the way that I acted.
Now, I want to ask Kyler, Alex, and RJ what 4 years of MFF means to them.
This question I want to just cover really quickly. It puts me in a weird position to answer this question, because I know my answer is going to be really long. I know my answer is going to be corny. It's going to be heartfelt. But really, I've been able to make, you know, a living. I've been able to make, I don't want to say a career, but it's possible that I'm making a career off of, out of playing Marvel Future Fight and enjoying the game and discovering the game and kind of mapping the game out with you guys and building this community and talking to you guys on Twitter, talking to you guys on Discord, talking to you in the comments. So I really can't describe the way that it feels or what it means to me, because I honestly never imagined that I would ever get this far. And every, you know, month or 2 months, and especially every year, I look back on the previous year and I'm like, man, another year playing and YouTubing Marvel Future Fight, and somehow it keeps getting better and better. You know, the first year was challenging for different reasons. The second year was challenging for different reasons. We're in the third year now, but it's just every time I look back, I'm like, I'm glad that I went through this. I'm glad that we went through the downs, because the ups were just so good. And, you know, I just couldn't imagine another way of doing it, and I wouldn't necessarily, I don't think I would want to go back and redo it. So here they're referring to events that are going to be coming out later that are going to be giving uniform rank up tickets as rewards, and also possibly tier 3 materials. So it's unclear whether this is a regular kind of get these tokens and then spend the tokens in a token shop, or if it's a different kind of event that we haven't seen yet before. But a lot of people are wondering where the hell this event is. I honestly have no idea. It's probably going to happen closer to the anniversary, because remember guys, it's not just about Endgame, it's also about the 4-year anniversary of Marvel Future Fight. That's a huge accomplishment, and they want to celebrate that, so they want to leave some epic events for that 4-year anniversary so that we can remember that. So they kind of have to balance the two, and they probably don't want to overwhelm us with too many things, because with the new update, a lot of people are playing World Event, a lot of people are playing the Shield Academy, so they don't necessarily have time to also play another event or collect tokens and stuff for another event involving these other things. This was a scripted kind of mug clink. We chose our mugs. I, of course, had to go with the Thanos mug. Very cool. We're all drinking water, obviously, and it was just nice to have that in there with all the different. The Thor mug looks super cool. The Captain Marvel mug, etc. And that was just a nice moment. That kind of just caps off the last part of the live stream. So this was pretty funny, because they had a separate window open on the screen that we could look at, and the window had a bunch of questions, like, you know, dozens of questions that they had chosen, and so I was just reading through all of them quickly. A lot of them were pretty goofy and just like not necessarily good questions to answer, and listen, trust me, I want community involvement and interaction, and I want, you know, them to answer your questions. But honestly, guys, some of these questions were so bad, and I know, because I have years of experience reading Twitch chat live and trying to sift through questions to find good ones. And I was just kind of laughing and kind of enjoying the moment of not having to answer the questions, but being able to see the ridiculousness of some of these questions. You know, but I mean, some of them were good. I'm not saying all of them were ridiculous, but you know, we saw more questions than were answerable, and that's just the way that the nature of a live stream. You're not going to show just a few questions and have them specifically answer those, because the people choosing the questions obviously are not the same people answering them. Alfonso can't multitask and scroll through the chat choosing questions while dictating and kind of announcing and leading the live stream, and so the person who's choosing those questions doesn't know necessarily what Alfonso wants to talk about or what's good for the live stream. So there's like a whack of questions, then he just sifts through them for the best ones. And there were quite a few good ones, and I wish we could have gotten to a few more, but it's always nice to see this kind of stuff happen on the live stream.
Now, thanks to everyone for joining us for our live stream and for your continued support of Marvel Future Fight.
More goofy faces.
Everyone know how much their support means to us and has meant over the years. We thank you for playing and enjoying Marvel Future Fight.
Hell yeah.
And we hope that we can always provide a game that you can enjoy and a game that we can be proud of.
Hell yeah.
Now, a little more...
so see, he's leaning into the frame, and that's why I'm laughing. Because he's finally...
Marvel Future Fight project.
I had no idea.
Not to worry, though, I'm not leaving them.
We had no idea he was leaving the Marvel Future Fight team. So that was completely unscripted reaction. I was just shocked. I really like Alfonso. I think he's a great guy. He does so much for the Marvel Future Fight community. You know, and he's built up the social media so well over the past, you know, year or so. I mean, I don't know exactly how long he's been controlling it and kind of taking care of it, but he's done such a good job of not only taking care of it, but growing it into something that's honestly better than most mobile games at this point. Marvel Future Fight used to have zero presence online aside from a few posts here and there, and now they're everywhere thanks to his work and dedication, and there's so much that he puts into the game for us to enjoy on that side of things. And so this was also an unscripted moment. This was very funny. I had no idea, but it was really good. Yeah. And then he does like the energy thing. That was really funny. And then so much money. That was my like indication. I was being a bit of a dick sometimes. And so the last part I think that you guys are looking forward to is, of course, the cake scene. It's building up. So they pass us the cakes. You'll notice that I immediately take my fork out of my slice. And the reason for that is because, yes, the cake was 100% scripted. But I have to say, my reaction is terrifying. When I go back and I look at my reaction, I look like a psychopath because I look directly into the camera and I start laughing, and it was just super creepy. So yeah, that was scripted. Alfonso was a super good sport about it. He was the one who decided, who kind of wrote that scene in where, you know, I would hit him with the cake because he knows, you know, basically what would the fans want to see most? What would they find the funniest? Alfonso getting hit with the food or me getting hit with the food? So it was basically just one of the two. He decided to take the bullet that time because maybe there's, you know, something with like, you know, a guest being attacked or something. I don't know. Maybe there's some legal aspect to it. Maybe not. Maybe it's just about, you know, not wanting to get my glorious beard full of cake, and that would take hours and hours to clean out. But his mustache did take a while to clean out in terms of like, you know, cleaning it with soap and stuff. But yeah, that was a hilarious end to the live stream. A little bit bittersweet because that was his last, well, possibly his last one, presumably his last one. But hopefully, you know, we'll hear from him again, and he'll have even more successes to discuss with us and talk to us about and tell us about. So that is my reaction to the live stream. That is some background information and some background of what I was thinking and the thought processes that I was going through, and, you know, everything that we knew and all of the things, way more that we didn't know, and we didn't even get to play the game after that live stream was over. We had to go and do other things. And so everything from then on until now has been completely new to me. So let me know what you guys thought of the Facebook live stream. Let me know if I cleared anything up for you, and any other questions you have. I'll try my best to answer them, as long as it's not, you know, trying to reveal things about other people's personal information or anything like that. You know, you got to keep it professional. You got to keep it 100. Hit me up, guys. Love you. Thanks for the support. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.